Hey everyone, thanks for. Damn it, I already fucked it up. All right,
Remember the name of the podcast
what
too.
is
Just
this? This is Dissonant Echoes.
there it
All
is.
right. Welcome to the Dissonant Echoes podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Gutierrez, joined with co-host Alan Brucky.
What's
How's it
up?
going?
It's going good, man.
Yeah. So, a couple housekeeping items. We got and scene tapes, Pull the String Digital. We got the pre-order for Teach Them to Weep. That's all on Bandcamp. You can check over the hauntologybandcamp.com. Hauntology Records. Oh my god, I'm fucking this up so bad.
Yeah, well, people can find it if you just Google
Yeah,
Hauntology Records Bandcamp.
yeah. We also have Liminal Animal vinyl and Mind Prisoner tapes available. So head over to the Bandcamp, check it out.
Yeah, there's lots of other stuff on there too. So just go take a gander, as they say down here.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the description. So
Yeah, it's always down there.
yeah,
Speaking of one of those items, the Teach Them to Weep pre-order, we're gonna hopefully have him on the show soon to talk about that release and get all nerdy about how he makes music and stuff.
yeah, I'm real excited about that record EP. Really, really different. Especially is very different from the last one he put out because he sent it to me and I wasn't even sure it was the same project because like all the clean vocals and stuff it was a
Yeah,
very different. So really excited to put it out. Really glad he reached out to me.
yeah. No, I feel very I feel like a kindred spirit because Pull the Strings is evolving quite a bit from what it used to be as well,
Hmm.
and pretty much the only thing that is the same is like the wretched vocals. So yeah, I definitely like seeing other people branch out and do new things.
Yeah, yeah, it was very different. I was yeah, very surprised with the drastic change. But yeah, it sounds great, man. I can't wait for everybody to hear the rest of the EP.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. And then yeah, if anybody does want any physical releases for Pull the Strings, you got to make yourself heard. Otherwise, it's not happening, guys. So yeah, just let us know. But I appreciate everybody who's picked that up on Bandcamp and Ampwall so far.
Yeah, yeah, we really gonna make a big push on for the next couple releases. We got a lot of stuff planned, so hopefully we'll keep putting out tapes. Vinyl, not so sure. Probably probably gonna be doing lathe cut in the future for a while, but uh,
Yeah, so why is that? Let's talk about that.
yeah, well, I guess we can get into that. Yeah, so sales have been down across the industry. You know, our favorite label, at least my favorite label, Total Dissonance Worship, actually just said like, you know, sales are down like everywhere. So they're actually considering pulling back on physical media also. So yeah, I don't not really sure what's going on. I know like for a while there was a boom because everybody, I don't know, like the last couple of years there was a big boom in the industry. You know, I think because of certain thing I don't think we're supposed to mention on YouTube kind of threw a wrench in everything. So like people were at home and like, you know, they were just buying stuff. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But now everything's kind of, you know, I think everything's kind of just settling down and people are like starting to be a little more frugal, which is understandable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I when I can, I really like to support artists with buying physical media, but I don't even own a record player, so I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people are buying them to collect them and stuff, and now it's just that's one of the first things that you stop spending money on when things get harder in the economy and whatnot. So
Yeah. Now I know like my job for a while I was working like 70 plus hours a week and now we're like barely scraping 40. So I just I think a lot of people, you know, they're working less and stuff, so not as much money to
yeah,
throw around. So I get it. You know, I haven't been spending as much lately either. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been a few weeks since I've even bought anything on Bandcamp. I've been kind of saving money a little bit more myself. You know, plus I'm self-employed right now, and that's, not booming right now either, which is another thing I've noticed. But yeah, I mean, in general, I see a lot of indicators, and we're hearing from people that know a lot more than us that this is like a time where people just aren't buying vinyl, aren't buying tapes, and we're seeing that at the label. So, I mean, we appreciate each and every one of you that still supports and buys things very much, but we understand.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've had some very supportive fans, and really appreciate the ones that um, that have been with the label since the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. So today I figured we'd talk about mixing and mastering. If for anybody that doesn't know, one of my things that I do, my small business I started is Hanging Puppet Audio, and I am a mixing and mastering engineer. And that is like one of my passions alongside writing and recording music and playing music live and, just being a record label person too. Like one of my main things that I do is mixing and mastering, and I just there's a lot to get into with that subject, so I figured we could talk about that today. But I just wanted to start by like talking about what they are for anybody that may not know. Like if you're just a listener of music and you don't really know, the whole process from start to finish, basically, especially these days, the band records the music either at home separately at their computers or in a studio. Then those files are kind of they have to be mixed together to sound good together. All the drums, bass, guitars, vocals have to go together somehow. That's what mixing is. So a mixing engineer traditionally will do that. Although these days you can do it yourself, of course, because you can learn from YouTube or wherever else. And generally, like what it actually is just volume. You're just making things louder or quieter so that they fit together really well. That's one job. And then another job is after you've got a song mixed, then you need to make it ready for release into the world, for different speakers to play it back, for people to listen to it in their headphones, whatever. So that's where a mastering engineer comes in. And their job, our job, is to make the music sound finished, loud, competitive, and like as good as it can across every speaker that could possibly play it back out there in the whole world. Which is not, it's easier said than done sometimes, but there's tricks to it. So yeah, that's mixing and mastering, just two of the many jobs in audio production. And I got into them because I just wanted to make my own music. Like for the longest time, I talked about this on my interview episode on the podcast. For the longest time, I just was a guitarist, right? So I just, I would sit down at my computer. Maybe I'd record a riff. I'd record it doubled, so I'd have left and right, and then I'd put some drums to it. But that's all I ever did. That's as far as I got, right? So eventually I just got better at writing riffs that went together, as in writing songs, and I wanted to record those songs. And then once you record the songs, you want to make it sound good. So that's where mixing comes in. And that's pretty much how most people get into it. You just want to make your stuff sound good. So over the years, I've just absorbed, man, just a lot of hours of content on YouTube about how to mix music, basically from all different sources. Some of it was bad information, some of it was good information, but ultimately practice just on a lot of different songs is what's gotten me to where I am. Um, at this point. And I before I go on anymore, I do want to talk to you about your experience with it because I know you're newer to it, but still you're doing the same thing, right?
yeah, uh, yeah. There was a lot more that goes into it than like you would like. I didn't realize like 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 adjusting all the levels and stuff like all the small stuff I didn't even think about before I really got into recording. So
Yeah.
a whole lot. Like I didn't know what I knew a little bit of what compression was, but like I didn't know how important it was,
Right.
and just
Yeah.
all these little things that just came up in like automation and stuff like that. I didn't like know any of that stuff. So and then another big thing was I didn't realize that just because it sounds good in my headphones doesn't mean it's going to sound good in my car. It's going to sound good on my
Right, right, right.
speakers and like
Yeah, you
so.
got to check on different sources
Yeah,
or just have somebody else do that for you. Either way, it needs to happen at some point.
yeah. I didn't realize like how important all that was, and like kind of trying to find the perfect balance because it's not going to sound like great everywhere. So you just kind of want to like the best it can be, like the best like mix everywhere,
Yeah, it's all a
So it's
compromise,
yeah,
absolutely. You're giving and taking everywhere, every
yeah,
step of the way. So, um, yeah, you are kind of looking for like the average, not like the
yeah.
best for one system. You know, it's interesting that way. But
I would like if artists released the version that was perfect for them. I think that would be kind of interesting. I thought about doing that. I'm like, if you have like these headphones, like this is the perfect mix, is the exact sound that I want.
yeah,
Like I thought like that might be cool for
that
like
could be cool. Yeah,
yeah.
like if somebody else has those headphones and you're like, here, this is for you.
Yes, this is the exact sound of like in my head. This is what I wanted, you know. Um
There is a way to kind of cheat that a little bit. You can use software like SonarWorks, Sound ID,
mhm,
and what it does is it basically simulates that you're listening to music in a space through
mhm,
headphones, through speakers, whatever, in a car.
yeah,
And so if you use the profile for that pair of headphones, then you can kind of get there a little bit.
yeah,
It's not the
hmm,
same, but
yeah. No, I don't know like beats were real popular. I don't know. I don't think they're popular anymore, but like they're real
I mean,
bass heavy.
actually, Beats are pretty still popular for like Bluetooth earbuds, I know,
Yeah,
but
yeah. But like the over ear ones, not
yeah.
so much. Um, I can't wear the earbuds because of my cauliflower ear. Like it falls out. So
Oh, I got you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I used to like I used to mess around with different like headphones, and like all of them were just like so bass heavy, and like I ended up getting like cheap headphones. I don't know. I don't really know what I was going with that, but
Yeah, they were
uh,
just bass heavy headphones, and like that's not what you want for mixing, obviously.
yeah, I don't think
Well, it's not
doc.
even obvious when you're starting out because
Yeah.
it's what you're used to hearing. And to a certain degree, like these headphones that I'm using right now,
Mhm.
they're pretty bass heavy. I also have they're not over here, they're over there, but I also have really flat headphones
Yeah.
that are really like accurate and true.
Mhm.
But I have to check on these every single mix or master that I do so that I can get a better idea of what the bass is going to sound like through most speaker systems, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's like weird like trying to listen to Bob Dylan on beats. It like sounds terrible, like
Yeah,
it's like okay, maybe I
makes
should
sense.
get something else. I don't think Dr. Dre had black metal or folk music in mind when he was making his headphones.
Yeah,
But
so I mean, you having different playback systems, whether they're headphones,
yeah,
speakers, whatever, you know, it's good because sometimes one type of playback system is going to suit different type of music, you
yeah,
know. So
yeah,
all that to say that essentially, like how you hear the music is going to be different than how other people hear it. So
hmm,
we're all trying to make compromises to where it's going to sound as good as it can everywhere. That's the job, right?
yeah, pretty much.
Um, and there's people that do an amazing job of that I respect. That inspired me to take this more seriously. Probably the biggest influence that I have is not in the metal world so much as in like the post-hardcore world, which is Chris Crummett. He is a recording engineer, a mixing mastering engineer, and I think he's in Portland. And yeah, he's just done some of my favorite records growing up. Dance Gavin Dance is the big one that people might be familiar with. Sleeping with Sirens, Issues, all the Rise Records stuff. He did all those really big, like mainstream. I don't know what to call it, alternative records. And they just smack. They hit so good. So, I mean, I really respect what he does, and I've learned a lot. Not just from him, but from that whole scene on YouTube because he's like part of this scene of like people that are doing like Unstoppable Recording Machine and stuff like that. And I've just learned a lot from that like corner of YouTube. But some other influences that I have, Warren Hewart. He is a huge influence on me. He does the Produce Like a Pro channel on YouTube, and his mixes sound nothing like mine because he does like Beatles type stuff all the time. But he's just a great educator when it comes to this, and I've learned so much from his channel, and Mark Daniel Nelson as well. So yeah. I doubt you have any specific names that you really think about when it comes to engineers, but if you do, you're free to name them now.
That's a Alan Bruckey. No, I don't. Yeah, I can't. I can't think. Oh no,
I can't think either, man. I feel you.
there's
But
no.
yeah, see, I mean, not a lot of people really study that. I
Hmm.
like look at the credits when I like a song because I want to know who produced it and who recorded it and all that. So,
That's a
um,
good point. Probably should be more considerate of that. Um, I don't know. I can't. I can't. Not no name comes to mind.
yeah, but
Like
do you have
it's
like an album or something that you like the mix on a lot that sticks out?
no, I can't. Like
Yeah, I mean, again,
can't
most
do
people
that.
don't
Yeah,
care. It's if the song is good,
yeah,
it can have a bad mix and it'll still be a good song.
yeah,
But if you want the best product you can get, then you need to have a good mix and master, and that's the part that I like to nerd out about.
yeah. I just I never really thought about it. Like I don't know. And it's like it's every band is kind of different. So like I wouldn't be able to notice like a certain like mixing engineer or mastering engineer. Like it would be. I'm not. I don't. I guess I just don't listen that closely that I would recognize that. Even like.
I think
Uh,
what it is for me is I'm not necessarily hearing like every little thing they do and I'm like, "Oh, that's them." I'm just hearing the overall like, "Oh yeah, this is the way that they do things," kind of thing. And it is hard to pick up on for a lot of people. It could
mhm,
be something like they use the same drum set for two different bands or like most of the same drum set, maybe with a different snare or whatever because it's in the same studio. Or it could be something like when they're mixing, they use the same mix bus chain, and so it has the same compression on it and everything, and it sounds pretty similar. That's hard to pick up on, but stuff like that is what I kind of notice when I listen to a discography from like a mixing engineer.
yeah, yeah. I
But
don't
yes,
know.
generally speaking, every album that somebody produces is going to be different. So, you
Yeah,
know, it can be
I
not
don't
the
know.
most consistent thing and not the easiest thing to pick up on.
I have to look at like who Godspeed, You Black Emperor, like who does their mixing and mastering
I'll look it up right now because I'm curious.
because like those are my favorite albums like by far.
Yeah.
So
Which one should
um
I look at? Which
the,
album?
the big one is Lift Their Skinny Fist like Antennas to Heaven, which I think it's most people's like favorite. Luciferian Towers is good. That one a lot of people didn't really like. I liked it. Um,
So Skinny Fist Like a Tennis to Heaven.
yeah,
Um, I don't know how this website works. Hang on. Let me see the credits. Here we go. Somebody named Daryl mixed it and recorded it and
no,
produced it.
very nice.
Yeah. He has 20 credits on this website for different bands. Somebody named just Daryl, but the mastering engineer was John Golden. That guy is
Mm.
Golden because it's in his name. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot. I mean, a lot of the stuff I really like. I love. It seems like it was very raw. It wasn't too polished.
right.
Like I think like the record like I don't know. Sadness Will Prevail by Today's the Day is a very harsh record. I would say it's not mixed particularly well, but like Steve Austin, I think is an amazing songwriter. That record, it's like a double. I think it's a long record, but like that one's yeah, I don't know. I so like mixing and the mixing mastering part of it isn't like so important to me, but I really should start paying attention more to that, you know.
Well, for that album, just for an example, it's got two engineers listed, Sam Grimes and Sir David Wilson, but it doesn't even have the main engineer listed. Both of those are listed as assistants.
Mhm.
The executive producer was Matt Jacobson, and it doesn't say who mastered it at all.
Yeah.
So it got released. Maybe those things
Yeah.
weren't even considered too much.
Yeah. Man,
That's the
so
thing. Like, there's a lot of artists, especially like independent artists that are starting out. Either they'll just throw something on at the end that like kind of automatically does it for them, like Ozone or Lander or one of those plugins,
mhm.
and not think about it too much, or they just won't even really do like a final mix master on the project. They'll just upload it raw.
Yeah.
Um, and depending on your settings, if you use like a streaming service or whatever, it'll bring the volume up if it's too quiet. So it's not even that big of a deal these days. But I purposefully turn that stuff off so that I can tell exactly how the person uploaded it. But that's just me.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, like
Wait,
it.
well, I wanted to go back just for a second before we move on, because you were touching on something that's actually pretty profound, which is that a lot of your favorite music is technically kind of mixed bad, you
Yeah.
know, and that's actually really cool, because what that means again is what I said earlier, is like if the song is good or if the emotion connects, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
And sometimes it needs to sound a little dingy and kind of shitty to connect in the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah. No, I mean, uh, a lot of like I think of like some like outsider art and stuff like it's just stuff that's just like people like compulsively made. It's like that's I really I find that very interesting. Like somebody just had to make this thing, so
Yeah.
they put it out however it sounded. They didn't.
Yeah, and then
They,
all the yellow tape or red tape or whatever it's called, I don't even know that term really, but
mm,
all the extra stuff on top is kind of just like whatever, because the point is like, I need to get this out.
yes, and like I'm drawn to a lot of these projects where people just like compulsively write. Like I don't know. I've been listening a lot to like Gnaw Their Tongues lately. It's a big influence on um like it's been a big influence on some of my writing. It's just some guy. He's like I think um I forget what he does, but I think he works like he's like a computer guy. He works from home, I think, in the Netherlands, and he just looks like a normal guy, kind of, but like he makes like some of the harshest music I've ever heard. It's like very intense.
Yeah.
It's like scary. It's like very spooky, and I just it's so mesmerizing. It's like entrancing.
And
Like
see, man, like I really truly appreciate people that release music that breaks rules and does things
mhm.
in a unique way. I really do. Even if you're intentionally mixing and mastering it, like with those two jobs in mind, if you
Mhm.
have the like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? If you have the courage to do it like shitty to make it sound the way you want,
Yeah.
against the rules of how it's supposed to sound, then I respect that, because the job is to deliver emotion. And if you can do that with with whatever technical means you have available to you, if you can do that by breaking rules that you've learned, like that's even harder. So I respect that a lot. Just as much actually as I respect people that do things within the lines and make things sound perfect and amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like a different like it's like the opposite ends of the spectrum. Like when we talked about before about like the classical pieces and how much like they how much like preparation and like time goes into like actually creating, and then the other end is like people like have to create and they have to put it out there no matter the actual sound, you know.
Yeah.
Um uh,
Yeah, I like to live somewhere in the middle with my own
uh,
art, but it's really cool to see both ends of the spectrum,
yeah.
and like I said, I have a lot of respect just as much for each side. Like I've been listening to a lot of pop music lately, and by
Mm,
pop music, I mean exactly what you think when you hear that word. I mean like Taylor Swift, Tay McRae, Chappell Roan, like all these popular singers. I've been listening to it a lot lately. I've been studying it, and I've been studying the mix and master. And I'm actually making my own pop music right now, just for fun that I might release. We'll see. But it's a whole discipline, and I find that just as cool and interesting as harsh noise. You know, it's just different expressions.
yeah, a lot of like pop and like country artists. They're so talented, especially these pop artists. Like people don't really understand how talented these pop artists are.
Yeah,
They kind of just
I wrote it off
dismiss
for a
it.
long time, man. Like
Yeah.
I listened to Midnights by Taylor Swift.
Mhm.
That's an album she put out in like 2021, I think. Sorry, Swifties. Um, but I listened to like the first half of it, and I knew I was gonna like the instrumentals because it was I can't remember the name of the producer right now, but he does a really good job. I knew I would like the music, but I was really surprised by the lyrics. They're really good. So
Mhm. Yeah, I don't really know any of her music, but I just like I know those studio musicians um that do all the pop stuff. Like they're amazing artists. They could play
oh yeah.
anything. It's you know it's like kind of the complete opposite of like metal. Like uh the guys can barely play and they'll put out a record like in the metal scene, but like pop artists, you have to be so polished and like professional to like make it, you know? It's a very difficult scene to break
Yeah, I mean,
into.
it's a very nuanced subject. There's obviously virtuosic metal players, and
Yeah.
there's also very rudimentary pop productions that are being made too.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff can be done for you in the DAW these days when it comes to pop because you don't
Mhm.
even have to record a real instrument. You can just,
Yeah.
just put it all in there in the piano roll or whatever. So it's a nuanced topic, but I mean, I get what you're saying, and again, it just comes back to appreciating all the different spots on the spectrum. You know?
Yeah, I think like pop fans are probably are less likely to listen to a purportedly produced record
Hmm.
than metal fans would be. Like
Yeah.
metal fans will listen to like really bad stuff. Like I do it all the time. But like pop fans, like I feel like they would just like reject something if it wasn't done to like a extremely high standard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. Like people like look at it. A lot of people like kind of look down on like pop music for some reason. Even though it's like not my cup of tea, it's like I still appreciate like the amount of like work that goes into it. You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's still very, very creative. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
always end up being the most creative stuff ever. Like it's sometimes it could just be a very simple chord progression and the most basic top line. But a lot of the stuff that I've heard from these really popular artists, like Sabrina Carpenter and like all the ones I just mentioned, like some of the deeper cuts on the albums they put out, especially, are actually pretty complex melodically and harmonically, and you'd be surprised. And Jack
Hmm.
Antonoff was the name I was thinking of, but couldn't remember for the producer for that Taylor Swift album. He's really good.
Yeah. Like I think I do listen to some Lana Del Rey.
Yeah,
Um, I think she's fantastic.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I really like that record, Ultra Violence. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like, but I don't know. Yeah, pop music is it's I think it's just dismissed by metalheads because it appeals to a mainstream.
Yeah, it's like I don't drink seltzers, I drink beer. Well,
Mm,
you can have both at different times in your life.
yeah, I don't know. Like my wife she likes a lot of more mainstream music, not so much. I don't think she likes what I do, but
Yeah, I feel that, man.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, as far as like mixing and mastering, it's a lifelong journey. It's something that you never stop improving with, which is the case with many things, but it's very true with that field. And, I've been working on it seriously for it's 2025 now, so I guess like 6 years. And, I've gotten into a place where it's more of like an art than it was like trying to learn all the science of it in the beginning. I've kind of gotten the technical stuff down so that now, there's always new things to learn and new techniques to learn, but mostly it's kind of a creative thing at this point. Even mastering, which is a very technical job, I feel is pretty creative to me now because I've learned so much of the technical side of it that I kind of just get to, I get into a flow state with it. But 6 years can get you really far if you're really dedicated to it. Just don't expect like to ever be fully satisfied with anything you put out because you're always going to keep getting better and you're always going to look back on something you did a year ago and you can clearly improve on it now. So you'll probably want to hate it. And it gets easier as the years goes on because your work is better overall. But there's always the temptation to hate what you did last year.
Mm-hmm.
That goes for writing music as well. But yeah, it's a big thing with like independent self-produced artists. It's a big thing to like really hate your mixes and masters that you did, especially when you were starting out. I feel that very strongly.
Yeah, no, I'm still dealing with that. Like, I want to go back and change songs and stuff, but I'm just gonna leave it. I think
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave it for now.
just got to move
But
on and keep going.
if I get better, then maybe in the future. Is there any particular like any record that you worked on that like I don't know maybe moved you or kind of changed like how you view mixing and mastering?
Yeah, I think I've talked about it briefly before on the podcast, but Hauntology Records roster artist Gnashing Teeth, the album Repent, really challenged me. I think I've talked about it where it's like I went back and forth with the artist several times with revisions because I kept trying to take too much harshness out of the sound because I wanted to make it sound technically better. But then I
Right.
realized that the whole point was to be aggressive and harsh and brutal. And so I went back to like version 2 out of 6, I think is what happened. And it was like way better. And yeah, that just taught me a lot about serving the artist and their intentions, which is what this is all about. When you do mixing and mastering as a job for other people, you're working in a service industry. The whole point is to create the vision the artist has in mind the best you can. And
Right.
also, if you're mastering it, to make it sound the most even across everything that's going to be listened on. But yeah, I mean, it's a service job. So you have to be willing to sacrifice some of your own ego to be able to create what the artist wants the best you can. That's what
Right.
I learned from that.
Yeah, like there's that saying, the customer is always right in terms of taste. So ultimately, like that's kind of how it goes, right? It doesn't matter how stubborn the artist is. Like that's kind of like how it goes.
Yeah.
But like I think like most artists, it's a very personal like to give their music to someone else to like try to try to add to it or improve it. Like it's very personal for the artist, I think. And I've had that experience like we with artists don't want to make changes and stuff or they want they're very specific. It's and you end up having to like just to try to like compromise as much as you can like so that uh the end product is like presentable at least without like blurring the artist's vision.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a compromise. Like the audio portion of it, the creative portion of it is also a compromise in that you have to try to do what the artist wants, but you can't release something that's going to make you look bad either. So
Right.
you got to be careful here. This is my general rule. I'm just going to give this advice out. This is something I've told friends and like colleagues of mine, but I've been living by this for years now and it's served me very well. Don't work creatively with anybody you don't like and don't work creatively on any project that you don't see the vision for and believe in and agree with. And if you can just not do those things, what you do end up working on is going to be so much smoother sailing.
Mm,
If you like the people you're working with and you believe in the vision they have and you share it, then you're going to get there.
yeah. No, for sure. I know like film directors sometimes the studio will make them cut so much that they'll just like change their name on the credits because it's not their vision.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then like as the label, like I never want to do that. I never want the artist to feel like, their work has been bastardized.
right.
So like I think that's really a good point. It's like to work with people that you like believe in their vision.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, you have to be selective. Like, you know, just make sure that you're compatible with whoever you work with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that specific point that you just said, that you have to be compatible. There's a way that I've had it put to me by some bandmates of mine that's just poetic. It's you got to have compatible bullshit with other people
Yeah,
you work with. Everybody's got quirks, to put it
yeah,
mildly, and you've got to have compatible quirks, compatible bullshit, as this one guy told me. Or else it's gonna go sideways at some point, you know.
yeah. No, for
And it's
sure.
it's hard to tell when you're just working with clients that just hit you up out of the blue, but you do the best you can to make sure that at least musically, creatively, you believe in the project and you want to see it through.
Yeah. No, that yeah, that's good. That's good. I like the way you put that. And like we're trying to be more selective as a label because we've had a bunch of stuff that like doesn't quite fit or is like not really up to the par where we would want to put it on the label. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's tough.
that's tough too.
It's really
I mean, I
tough.
can speak from experience. My own metalcore band, the Venus Effect, we had to drop from the label because it was a mutual understanding that we didn't fit the vision of the label.
Mm,
Stuff like that happens, and I understand the vision that you have for the label. I mean, if I could sum it up, it's just experimental and kind of avant-garde black and death
yeah,
metal, extreme metal, weird stuff that's
yeah,
not it doesn't necessarily have to be extreme metal, but just like just like it's hard for me to put it into one word, but like I feel like something that all the music we release has in common is that it's all very introspective.
yeah.
Um it's
Th-
like not everybody here is going to believe the same things obviously, but it all has this like I feel like there's a mythos to Hauntology Records where it's like it's kind of in the name. Like there's like this mystical quality to like what we're doing here. I don't know. It's hard to put into words. Like obviously, it's not like a religious thing. We're not saying that. It's not overtly any belief system that we're pushing at all.
yeah,
Everybody's welcome here and everything like that. But
yeah. But we are a cult. No,
yeah,
no,
exactly. Just
no,
just so you know,
yeah, no. Yeah, you nailed it, man. Like that's kind of how I feel about it. The introspection thing, like a lot of the artists, it's like it is kind of tied to
sorry, I
the
had to blow an ant off of my fucking desk here.
nice. Yeah, all the artists kind of like it is very introspective. Most of the artists' work,
Yeah, yeah, and there's like all kinds of different sounds you can hear from our roster, but at the same time, we are being choosier and choosier, and hopefully for the better. Um, you know, I'm very excited about what we have to come. I don't know about you.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very pumped for the next few releases. Uh oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about the Gnashing Teeth record that you mixed and mastered. Well, you just did the mastering.
I did. I sort of okay. So what I did was I stem mastered it. I
Mm,
got an instrumental and a vocal from
mm,
Gnashing Teeth, and I like mixed those together with a few different effects, and then mastered it. So mostly, yeah, I just mastered it, but I also did a little bit of mixing.
yeah, it was a very, very harsh record, very
Yeah,
intense.
very intense. And one of the challenges I had, and just direct me with whatever you want to talk about, but one of the challenges I had is you can't hear everything that's being played on the guitar at all times, and that's just part of it. It's
Yeah,
just too noisy to hear everything that's being played on the guitar at all times. I tried to fix that in the beginning. That was one of the things that I tried to do that made it worse. So I
yeah,
had to let go of that and kind of let it be this tornado of sound.
yeah. There's like a wall of sound kind of feel to it,
Yeah.
especially. Yeah, like you can't really hear. It's just like mush. Like it's like very harsh. Um, and I know like some of the stuff like even like some of the reviews people were like misunderstanding what the instruments were. Like people thought there was piano and stuff like that. Like, it's all yeah, it's all guitar and like
Right.
I know the water phone was used, which is weird, but yeah, it was a very um I don't know it I know the record is like for a lot of people it's just like pummeling, you know, and then it had kind of an unusual ending where it's like the outro is like just kind of a droning with a sample played over top,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a very very interesting album, you know.
One of the best performing ones on the label to this day. So, and
Yeah.
I understand why. It's like very artistically interesting, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, it was really it was really cool to put that one out in vinyl, you know. Got the killer artwork. Roberto Diaz did that. A fantastic artist. If you can check out his work on Instagram, he puts out so many pieces. It's really cool. But yeah, I mean, I think you did a great job with that one. Um, yeah, I mean, I know that one was a.
That was kind of like the first real work I ever got from anybody that wasn't my own stuff. I
Mhm.
think I might have done a couple things, but that's the one. If I just go to my website, I can go to my portfolio and check. Yeah, so basically, okay, I did the Enucleator EP,
Mhm.
the Black Card for my friend Andrew, but then Gnashing Teeth was my first like working with a label experience, pretty much. So,
Yeah.
um, and yeah, I mean, like I said, it taught me a lot, and I'm still really proud of it, and I still really enjoy the album. And yeah, I mean, very proud to have it in my portfolio for sure. That's a cool one. Um, I don't think I did the vinyl master for that. I'm pretty sure Gnashing Teeth had that done by the pressing plant. I could be wrong.
Yeah, they sent it out to one of their own mastering engineers,
Okay,
something like that.
yeah. So I didn't do the vinyl master for that. I've gotten into doing vinyl masters since then, and it's something I really enjoy. But obviously, that's going to slow down too if we're just not doing as much vinyl across the whole industry. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's a bummer, man.
It is a bummer. Like the art form of vinyl is so cool. The big artwork, the lyrics, you know, all of
Mhm.
that is so awesome. And it's something that I want every artist to be able to enjoy about making music is to have that part of the release. But first of all, it's hard to justify even when the industry is doing well.
Mhm.
And second of all, it's like, you know, I mean, we can still have the package experience with lathe cut vinyl. Like we can still have the most of the experience, the tactile experience, and it doesn't like sound terrible or anything. So, you know,
Yeah.
if that's the compromise we have to make for now, then all right.
Yeah, I wish we could justify just doing like presses, but like it's just so I
It's
don't
just
know.
expensive. I mean, for
Yeah.
anybody that is confused by what we're talking about, basically, vinyl's made usually the way it's always been done is there's like a lacquer that's cut, the master, and then that's used to press copies in a factory. And that's very expensive to do. There's a cheaper way to do it where it's made on a lathe where the grooves are cut individually on each and every disc on a lathe. It's faster to reproduce that way. You can do lower quantities, but the kind of drawback is that the grooves kind of wear out faster over time and they don't sound as good as like a pressed record technically.
Yeah, and it costs a lot more per copy. We did the picture disc, and they're coming out like uh, like we were selling them at cost pretty much. It was like it ultimately cost like $50 to like get them delivered to my house, and then we sell them for that. So like the lathe cut, they're really cool, the picture disc, but like there's no profit on it. Um, but that's just kind of how it is, you know.
Yeah. I mean, when I say it's cheaper, I mean overall because you can
Yeah,
do a lower quantity. You don't
yeah,
have to invest two or three or $4,000
right.
like you would when you're pressing vinyl. You can invest a lot less and you'll get almost no profit, but you know, at least the vinyl was created.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just doing it for, like, the artists wanna see their music put out on vinyl, and I think a kind of a compromise to the cost is like if we're gonna charge that much, like we might as well do a picture disc, you know. So I think that's pretty cool that we use Kanaki for that. It's pretty cool they offered that because just getting like a lathe cup that's black, like that's a like you're gonna spend $40, $50
Yeah.
on that. That's kind of a bummer. At least you get
Yeah.
the picture disc. It looks
Might as well
cool.
make it more of like a physical possession, you know?
Yeah, it looks cool. It's like collectible. We did 12 for the Mind Prisoner, and those came out really cool. I was really stoked to get those made. But yeah, I mean, like the Mind Prisoner cost over, I think, over $500 to get those made. Um, Whereas like the pressings, the minimum we had for the Gnashing Teeth record was 250 because that was the plant that we used, Smash Plastic. That was their minimum, and it cost I think 20, no, 3,600. I don't remember. It was a lot of money. I think it was like $3,600 at the end of the
Hey, Adrian, you're fired for talking about our financials.
day.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Nah,
I don't care. I personally believe that job like pay should be posted publicly, so I don't
yeah.
care.
No, I'm just like I want everyone to know like this is like what it is. Like
Yeah, no, it's
it's
expensive.
been
Like I said, two, three, four
yeah,
thousand dollars to press
yeah,
vinyl, depending on the options. If it's like gatefold would cost more, stuff
hmm
like that.
yeah.
Um,
I
and
mean,
I
we
mean
spent a little more because like we got colored vinyl because I didn't want to sell just black vinyl,
right,
and we even adding the spine that cost a lot more money. Like I think it comes out to a couple hundred more dollars just
yeah,
to
as
add a
opposed to just a
spine.
flat sleeve, right?
Yeah, you do the Euro sleeve, it's cheaper, and like those are like compromises we'll make. But like, yeah, it's very expensive to like, and if the record doesn't sell, like, you know,
Yeah,
I mean, like even with all like when everything's said and done, even if we sell every gnashing teeth record, the record probably will still lose money because like we were running advertisements for it. So
hmm
it's like that's what it is, and that's fine. We're trying to build up the label, and we're trying to build up the artists, in the label. So in the beginning, like that's kind of how most businesses operate. So, um,
yeah. So what about tapes? How are you feeling about tapes right now?
well, tapes, like, I don't know, like they haven't been selling. I don't know why.
Yeah. People
Um,
just aren't buying physical media right now. Like
yeah,
I said, it's one of those first things to go. It's like whenever you hit hard times and you have to sell your guitars, it's like music stuff is just one of the first things to go.
yeah. I don't know if like tapes were a fad or something like that, but like, yeah, they're not really
I
selling.
mean, look, I was into tapes since I was in middle school. I
Yeah,
had Metallica tapes and like Iron Maiden tapes and stuff. And that was like way after tapes had stopped being sold in stores, right? I bought
yeah,
those on eBay. So
hmm
it's kind of a timeless thing, but you have to be a pretty big nerd to actually buy tapes.
yeah. I like um I like making the tapes because they're pretty cheap to make, and we could do lower quantities, and even like we're starting to buy the pre-cut tapes, so like it's a minimum of 100, but the like certain releases like can use the same tapes, so that kind of helps, so
Yeah.
because before I was cutting them by hand and splicing them, and that was a pain. I didn't like doing that. Splicing
Yeah, I
is
don't
so
know anything
annoying.
about it, but it does sound intense.
It's very tedious. Like you
I
gotta
need to
line them
learn.
up and like it's
I would
horrible.
love to, be able to help you do that, but
Yeah,
you just do everything still to this day, DIY as hell. And
yeah,
so any tapes you buy from Hauntology, I think any of the current offerings are probably DIY. No, no, actually that's not true. We've bought tapes from other labels and we
yeah.
also have
Sands of Time
ordered tapes.
recordings. He made the pull the string tapes for Compulsion, which
Yeah,
were
that's
so
true.
sick.
Those
Yeah,
are great.
shout
Just
out.
sold the last one of those, by the way.
Yeah,
Thank you, everybody.
Sands of Time's recording. We're doing really cool work. He's doing he's doing represses of a bunch of vinyl, and then he's
Yep.
just donating all the money. That guy's awesome. I mean, he did
Yeah.
the pull the string tapes for a great deal, and so
And he
shout out,
handmade the like display box that they came
yeah,
with and everything too, which was like he didn't have to do that.
yeah,
Yeah, no, awesome dude. Like Adrian just said, he's doing a bunch of vinyl stuff right now. I don't think he's doing tapes at the moment, but check that out for sure.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, hopefully we can continue doing tapes.
I hope so. That's
Probably just,
basically what I was about to ask is like the prognosis going forward. Like, are we just going to try to keep pushing through the slog or are we going to try to get lean?
I don't know. Um, I mean, if the next couple releases don't sell, then I had to pump the brakes. At least, like maybe we could do like runs of 5 or something like that. But even
Yeah.
then, like sometimes those don't sell. It's surprising.
Yeah, it
We
really depends. And there was definitely like a downturn around the holidays, but it's like continued. So this is like a serious trend. You know,
yeah,
like we said earlier, we've heard from other people in the industry, like Simon from TDW,
yeah,
that it's not just us. Like everybody's seeing it. So
yeah. I know it's such a bummer. But I we have like we have the Teach 'em to Weep, uh, the EP coming out, hypnagogic day blooms.
I think it's hypnagogic, but yeah,
Hypnagogic. Yeah, I only read the word. I've never I've never like heard it said out loud.
super sick title. Also,
Yeah,
the artwork is amazing.
yeah, dude. Yeah, he does killer work, man.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, he did the artwork for the Pull the Strings album, and it came out awesome too.
yeah, that was sick. Um, we got that one coming out, and then I'm gonna. I don't know if anyone can see this one. Secret release.
Ooh,
Yeah,
secret release.
so that should be. I don't know. Maybe I'll post it tonight, which would be 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Maybe I'll wait till this comes out and then post it.
So here, let me just tell you for sure. I need to look. We're really disorganized. We've been meaning to get a
Yes,
calendar together for this, but we haven't made a calendar for this yet. But if I go to the Hauntology YouTube channel,
I think it
the
was supposed.
last video was posted. The last podcast was posted 2 weeks ago. So technically, I should have posted this week. So I'll post it like next Thursday.
All right. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll drop the tapes when this comes out.
All right, sick. Is that what I think it is?
Yeah, I think so. I
Okay,
only
sweet.
do 5, so.
Only 5. Well, now you're doing 6 because I want one.
All right, cool. Yeah, these turned out cool. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know what I'm not going to say anything about it. I'll wait till it's out. But anyways, um, yeah, man. We had to edit some of today's episode out, but we are coming up on an hour right now, and I've got storms rolling in here on the East Coast. Don't know how much longer I'm going to have internet, so probably going to wrap it up pretty soon here. Um, I think we did a pretty good job talking about mixing and mastering. I didn't go too in depth into mastering. I can definitely talk about that more in the future, but
yeah,
I
you know what we
mean,
should do? We should chat offline about it so I can actually interact better. And we'll come on and we'll do a whole episode on just mastering and stuff.
maybe, yeah,
Yeah.
if people are interested in it, especially, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I gotta look more into it, you know. 'Cause I'm not gonna lie, like most of the time when I'm doing my mastering, it's just the app preset on Logic. I put heavy mix and then send it.
Yeah,
That's it.
man, I know, and it pretty much works. So hey,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, I should. I don't know. It's you. I just send my music to you, and you just take care of it. So like,
Yeah, well,
that's a bad
I have
habit.
put the I have put the man hours in
Yeah,
to know what to do, but I'm always down to do it for people.
yeah,
I love doing it. But yeah, mixing, mastering, the state of the industry of physical media, news about our releases coming out. We had a pretty brief but I feel like potent episode today, and I'll be
Yeah.
excited to get Teach Them to Weep on next time and talk
Yes.
about that.
We'll try and get him on the next one.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And yeah, thanks everybody for checking out Dissonant Echoes episode 6. We're rolling on like a train here. We'll see how long we keep doing this for. Hopefully it picks up some steam. Share it with somebody. Subscribe on Apple Podcast or Spotify,
Like,
and
comment,
definitely the YouTube
subscribe.
channel. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, I appreciate everybody. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Thanks everyone for checking out Dissonant Echoes, the official Hauntology Records podcast. And to finish things off today, we'll play 2 songs from our most recent releases. Starting off with a track from my black metal project, Pull the Strings, the track Inundated from the new album Go Home and Cry. And then we'll hear the second track from the new Unseen record, Death Hymns Volume 2, and that one's called Bloodtooth Harvest. Enjoy, and thanks for stopping by.